In 8th grade, I had a teacher, pre-algebra teacher, who did not know how to teach at all. Let's call her Mrs. Cameron. Early on in the school year, maybe by late September, I, along with other students, had started to notice that she sucked at teaching. The way she would teach us was to explain just once how to do the basics or foundations of a new unit. Each unit is basically a new problem / formula that we're supposed to learn each year. Mrs. Cameron would very loosely explain this new problem and instantly give us work to do by ourselves. The next day, there will be additions onto what we quotations previously learned the other day. Without having enough time for me and other students to understand how to even do the foundation. By the end of the week, or by the end of 2 weeks, if it was a bigger unit, we would do a quiz. And it wasn't a big shock when most of the students would fail these tests because we didn't have a good foundation of what we were learning in the first place to even start learning the additions onto the basics. I was the type of kid who would love to doodle within my class in my sketchbook, and Mrs. Cameron didn't mind. She actually encouraged students to do art. One day towards the beginning of December, I left my sketchbook by accident in her room. I went the next day to search every classroom of mine until I was in Mrs. Cameron's room. I asked her if she had seen my black spiral sketchbook, which she said she had. That's when she handed me my sketchbook, and then she said to me, "After class, I went through your sketchbook, and you have really good drawings there." Yes, I know this is Mrs. Cameron was giving me a compliment, which I said thank you. However, who goes through someone else's things and goes through someone's sketchbook? I just don't understand it. It was confusing to me. I was kind of a little freaked out. It was weird. But she isn't just tone deaf, as in looking through people's stuff. My sketchbook, for example. She's kind of tone deaf when it comes to her jokes. And she's not really a racist person. She's a super nice person. She's tone deaf. So one of the borderline racist jokes was one of the comments she made was about a student named Lex who was Hispanic. They were having a discussion about if pre-algebra was really needed for future jobs / careers, which she said that you didn't really need it if you work at a taco shop or similar to that. This was in 8th grade. It's been how many years has it been? 2 years? Yeah, 2 years since then. 3 years actually, sorry. I don't quite remember it, but everyone's reaction was the same, where we kind of went quiet, and some kid said, "Hey, it's not a little racist," which a lot of people added on to that and commented, "Yeah, it is." Besides Mrs. Cameron being tone deaf in these situations, she failed at teaching my class how to do pre-algebra. 3/4 of her students got C- on her tests, and I think only 2 or 3 students got anything above a B. And that's because they were learned through outside sources. And it's not because she graded harshly, it was because she did not know how to teach. And she didn't give enough time to even learn anything. When I told my mom that our final grade, which I got an F in, it was to the point that everyone's final was curved. And my mom, she was doing college at the time, she's she only heard college professors ever doing that when the class significantly failed. And those were classes that were harder, accounting or something, where you really have to sometimes curve, and sometimes it's hard to learn that, and it's not it's pre-algebra. So the ending of the story is that Mrs. Cameron still does work at my middle school even 3 years later. And if you look at the reviews of my middle school, most of the 1 stars are discussing the teachers. Some teachers are exposed for doing really inappropriate things, or being horrible, or not teaching at all, or not even showing up. Yeah, my school district is not my school district is actually middle class, so it's not even that. If you look at the 1-star reviews of my school and that are discussing teachers, she's number 1 on the list. She's literally number 1 on the list, and it's funny sometimes to hear things that people say that she has done. And if you're wondering what happened to the students like me who didn't learn pre-algebra and went on to algebra because we technically passed, my 9th grade teacher, Mrs. Tony, she was really good at teaching, and she was really relaxed. She was reviewing PreAlgerbra when one of the boys from my class volunteered to answer the question. When he gave Mrs. Tony the answer, she told him it was wrong and how he solved it, which is basically she was trying to like see what the problem was and see if any of those students were doing it the wrong way, which is really good. That's a really good thing to do. And basically, he showed her the way, and she's like, "Who the hell taught you that?" And everyone who was in that class, who was also in Mrs. Cameron's class, said Mrs. Cameron, because she was the one who taught us pre-algebra. And then I, with other students, told our 9th grade teacher, Mrs. Tony, how she was horrible at teaching and made racist jokes in the past. And Mrs. Tony asked if our teacher still worked there and how she wasn't fired yet. Which is a great question, because her legacy of being a horrible teacher has lived on for 8 to 10 years now. I think she has worked in school for like I know she's worked for more than 10 years. She might have worked for 15 years if I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but still.